When Gareth Bale signed for Real Madrid from Tottenham Hotspur in 2013, it made him the most expensive player in the world. In his last season at White Hart Lane, the Welshman contributed 36 goals and assists in 44 games. Bale was by far Tottenham's best player, and with him in their squad, there was a sense that Bale could, and often would, single-handedly win games for them. When he wasn't making defenders look like they had never kicked a ball in their lives, he was busy scoring spectacular goals effortlessly and creating chances from virtually nothing. At the time, Tottenham had a below-average squad under Andre Villas-Boas, and now with a Gareth Bale-sized hole to fill. However, with an extra £85.1 million to spend, Spurs tried to strengthen their squad with 7 new signings, called the Magnificent Seven. But the supposed crown jewel was Tottenham's last signing, which was the most expensive signing in Tottenham's history. Signed from Roma for £25.8 million, the expectations given to him were absolutely insane. But 12 years on from his signing, and 4 years on from his departure, his legacy is highly debated. Some see him as a legend who showed flashes of brilliance and played a crucial role in one of the best Spurs teams to ever exist. Others will remember him as a flop, a disappointment who failed to live up to his huge potential, and only see him as a reckless player blighted by injuries. And that player is Erik Lamela. But how did he perform for the Lily Whites, and what is his legacy at Tottenham Hotspurs? In his last season in Rome, the Argentine was fantastic, making 20 goal contributions in 33 league games. So when the winger signed for Spurs, he was tagged with 2 labels. The first was Gareth Bale's replacement at Spurs, and the second was the new Messi, or the kiss of death as I like to call it. Combine that with his hefty fee and the statement of intent his signing made, and it was fair to say that Lamela had a mountain of expectations on his shoulders. In his first season, the newly capped Argentine international was underwhelming to say the least. Lamela struggled to adapt to the speed of the Premier League and was firmly behind Andros Townsend in the pecking order, who was at the top of his game at the time. Additionally, Lamela suffered a back injury and a hip injury in January that sidelined him for the rest of the season, resulting in just 17 appearances in total. Nevertheless, there were some signs of hope. Occasional flashes of brilliance in the cup competitions, and some notable assists showed the winger's potential. On top of that, after a season of poor form and managerial instability, Spurs appointed a little-known Argentine manager named Mauricio Pochettino from Southampton, who would radically improve the Lily Whites' form over the coming seasons. The following season saw Lamela earn a starting spot after clashes between Pochettino and Townsend. He repaid the manager's faith in him tenfold. Over the next 2 games, the Argentine would assist twice after coming off the bench in a 2-1 win against AEL Limassol, and assisted twice more in a 4-0 win against Queen's Park Rangers 3 days later at White Hart Lane. Most notably, Lamela assisted Chadley's opening goal to help Spurs secure a 1-1 draw away against title-chasing Arsenal. The Argentine international also played a key role in Tottenham's run to the EFL Cup final, and the club finishing 5th in the Premier League. Additionally, Lamela soon gained a reputation for his audacious tricks and flicks, especially his Rabonas. In a Europa League game against Esteras, Lamela curled a shot with his strong left foot into the top right corner, sending the stadium into celebration. Rabona goals are extremely rare, something 99% of players never attempt, but Lamela made it look effortless. This season also saw Lamela develop a reputation as a physical and sometimes reckless player. Overall, Lamela tallied 15 goal contributions in 2,992 minutes in the 2014-15 season, averaging a goal contribution every 195 minutes, indicating his improvement. The 2015-16 season marked Lamela's creative peak, with a remarkable 21 goal contributions in 3,073 minutes, roughly 1 every 146 minutes. World-class numbers. Many came in crucial moments, most notably against Monaco in the Europa League, where he scored the opening goal in a 1-1 first leg and netted a hat-trick in a 4-1 second leg victory. In the Premier League, the former Roma star also assisted in a 4-1 win over Manchester City and a 3-0 victory against Manchester United. He also provided the assist for the opener in a 2-2 draw against Chelsea, and for Toby Alderweireld's equalizer in a 2-2 draw with Arsenal. The Argentine was truly at his best, and his importance to Pochettino could not be overstated. Called a reinvigorated man, Lamela was the perfect Poch player, versatile, creative, and capable in operating on either flank, through the middle, or even as a forward. His endless trickery, flair for the spectacular, control, and dribbling made him a nightmare for defenders. He was press resistant, using his quick feet to evade opponents, and always looking to drive towards goal. Equally important was his off-the-ball work rate, defensive contribution, and pressing, which made him a constant threat when out of possession. Lamela's relentless work rate, aggression, and fearlessness gave Spurs an edge, where they seemed capable of beating anyone. During this period, Lamela's rougher side would emerge, with frequent tackles and physical challenges being a constant occurrence, as reflected in his 12 yellow cards that season. While sometimes these were reckless, he earned admiration from fans and kept opponents on edge. There was no better example of this than his rough challenge on Sergio Ramos, one of the most feared defenders of all time, a player no one dared to mess with. But Lamela just treated him as another opponent to overpower. Another great example of this is what he did to Cesc Fabregas. In a New Year's fixture against London rivals Chelsea, Lamela was caught deliberately stepping on Cesc Fabregas' hand while pretending to walk past him. It was sneaky enough for him to avoid a red card, but obvious enough to spark outrage and enhance his reputation as a sly operator. Tottenham finished third in the league, their highest since the 1984-85 season, qualifying them for the Champions League. The following season, Lamela started off strongly, scoring the equalizer in a 1-1 draw against Everton in the first match of the season. The highlight, however, was a match against London rivals Crystal Palace. Pochettino had previously benched Townsend for lacking defensive contribution, but Townsend sought revenge. Lamela, who had previously embarrassed him in training, sat him down with a stunning nutmeg, though left the stadium in awe. Pochettino, a former defender, considered it disrespectful, but the move went viral and underscored what a special player Lamela was. He went on to assist Danny Rose's equalizer against Liverpool and delivered a man-of-the-match performance against Gillingham in the EFL Cup, scoring and assisting 3 times in a 5-0 win. Unfortunately, a hip injury cut his season short, but regardless, Spurs finished second, their best league finish in over 60 years, and nearly challenged Chelsea for the title. Lamela returned in late November as Spurs aimed for another title run. He made an impact, notably diving to win a penalty against Liverpool that helped salvage a 2-2 draw. Replays showed minimal contact, leading many Reds fans to call for a ban. He also scored 2 goals and assisted 1 in a dominant 5-4 home victory over Leicester City, and scored and assisted in an FA Cup match against Swansea. Despite his contributions, Spurs only finished third, marking a slow decline in the following seasons. The 2018-19 campaign would see Spurs finish 4th with 6 less points than the previous season, as injuries would take their toll on the squad, including Lamela, who was plagued by muscle strains throughout the season. While he was impactful in the Lily Whites reaching the season's UCL final against Liverpool, Lamela could only watch from the bench as Spurs lost 2-0, which was a stain on their season and the Poch era at Spurs. While the Lily Whites were fantastic to watch, and are arguably the greatest club side to never win anything, it will be Tottenham's lack of trophies that would make the North London side a banter club and would overshadow the achievements of the great players that don the white shirt. In Lamela's last 3 seasons, he experienced a period of decline at Spurs, with Poch being sacked and the team underperforming under successor Jose Mourinho. While the Argentine winger remained a key player, injuries eventually took their toll. But interestingly enough, we would continue to see more Lamela madness. By this stage, Lamela had established a reputation as a shithouse player. If it weren't training ground fights, Lamela would still subtly taunt opponents after scoring or winning fouls. Known for his shrugging celebrations, casual stares, or sarcastic claps, the Argentine was unafraid to wind up opposing fans and players alike. Additionally, Lamela's reputation as a sly operator grew. There was a time that Lamela got Manchester United striker Anthony Martial sent off by dramatically throwing his head back after Martial had lightly slapped him during a tussle. On replay, it's clear Lamela elbowed the Frenchman first, provoking the retaliation and then capitalizing off of it. As previously mentioned, Lamela had a history of rough challenges and psychological warfare, especially against Arsenal. The attacker was a master of chaos in North London derbies and thrived in the heated atmosphere. He often dove into late tackles, tugged shirts, and left a foot in on opponents. His most infamous moment came in March of 2021 when he came off the bench to score an outrageous Rabona goal, a moment of pure genius that stunned the Emirates. This outrageous goal was awarded the Premier League Goal of the Season and earned him the Puskas Award that year. But true to his nature, Lamela's brilliance was quickly overshadowed by mayhem as he clashed repeatedly with Arsenal players and was eventually sent off for a reckless elbow on Kieran Tierney. Arsenal would end up winning the match 2-1, turning Lamela from hero to zero. At the end of the 2020-21 season, Lamela left Tottenham after 8 seasons, signing for Sevilla in a swap deal for Bryan Hill. Lamela spent 3 seasons in Andalusia, winning the Europa League before signing with Greek Super League side AEK Athens in 2024. All in all, Erik Lamela made 257 appearances for Tottenham, scoring 37 goals, providing 46 assists, and accumulating a whopping 32 yellow cards, the 8th most in Spurs history and the 2nd most for an attacking player. If we evaluate Erik Lamela based on his hefty price tag and the expectations that he would become just as good as Gareth Bale or the new Messi, then yes, you would say he has failed. While he made notable contributions in some big games and was very talented, he never produced the consistent match-winning performances expected of him. He never won a major title with Spurs, nor received any individual accolades, which will count against him. Injuries, inconsistencies, moments of recklessness, and frustration also defined his time at White Hart Lane, limiting his potential and possibly capping what he could have achieved. But if you strip away all the what-ifs and the sky-high expectations, Lamela was undoubtedly a fantastic player in his prime, and a key part in one of the most exciting modern-day Premier League teams we have ever seen. In my opinion, I believe that the Argentine will be viewed more favorably in time. As the modern era of squeaky clean images, ultra-professionalism, and an absence of true flair players, I think that we will come to maybe miss players like Lamela, as his dirty tactics, high energy, audacity, aggression, and trickery made him a live wire and earned a special spot in the hearts of Spurs fans. But what do you think? What is Lamela's legacy at Spurs? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time.